Speaking English is very important. Many people around the world speak English. If you can speak English well, you can talk to many people, make new friends, get a good job, and travel to different countries. So, how can you improve your English speaking? First, you need to practice every day. Practice is very important. When you practice, you get better. You can practice with your friends, family, teacher, or alone. You can talk to yourself in English saying, "Hello, how are you? I am fine, thank you." This is a good way to start. Second, listen to English every day. Listening is also very important. When you listen, you learn new words, how to say the words, and how to make sentences. You can listen to English songs, watch English movies, listen to English radio, and watch English TV shows. You can also listen to people who speak English by going to places where people speak English, listening to them, and learning. Third, read English books. Reading is very good for learning English. When you read, you learn new words and how to make sentences. You can read easy books, children's books, newspapers, magazines, and anything in English. When you read, you should read out loud. This will help you with your speaking. You can also read with a friend and read to each other. This is a good way to practice. Fourth, write in English. Writing is also good for learning English. When you write, you learn how to make sentences. You can write a diary in English, write about your day, letters to your friends, emails, and stories. When you write, you should try to use new words. This will help you learn new words. Fifth, do not be afraid to make mistakes. Making mistakes is okay. Everyone makes mistakes. When you make a mistake, you learn. You can ask your teacher, friends, or family for help. They will help you and tell you how to say things correctly. Do not be shy. Speak English as much as you can. The more you speak, the better you will get. Sixth, think in English. This is very important. When you think in English, you will speak better. You can start with small things. For example, when you see a chair, you can think, "This is a chair." When you see a book, you can think, "This is a book." When you are hungry, you can think, "I am hungry." When you are tired, you can think, "I am tired." When you think in English, it will be easier to speak English. Seventh, learn new words every day. Learning new words is very important. When you know more words, you can say more things. You can use a dictionary to learn new words and write them in a notebook. You can try to use the new words in sentences. This will help you remember the new words. Eighth, speak slowly. When you speak slowly, it is easier to say the words correctly. It is also easier for people to understand you. Do not speak too fast. Take your time, think about what you want to say, and then say it slowly. Ninth, join an English class. Taking a class is very helpful. You can learn many things in an English class, such as new words and how to make sentences. You can practice speaking with your classmates and ask your teacher questions. Your teacher can help you with your speaking. 10th, have fun. Learning English should be fun. When you have fun, you will want to learn more. You can play games in English, sing songs in English, watch funny movies in English, and talk to your friends in English. When you have fun, you will learn better. 11th, use technology. Today, we have many tools to help us learn English. You can use apps on your phone. Many apps can help you practice speaking English, learn new words, and work on pronunciation. You can also use the internet to find websites, watch videos on YouTube, and take online courses. Technology is very helpful for learning English. 12th, make English-speaking friends. Having friends who speak English is very helpful. You can practice speaking with them, and they can help you with your mistakes and teach you new words. You can learn about their culture and how people speak English in different countries. Making friends who speak English can be very fun and helpful. 13th, watch English news. Watching the news is a good way to learn English. You can learn about what is happening in the world, new words, and how people speak in different situations. You can watch news on TV or the internet. Watching the news can help you improve your English. 14th, join an English-speaking club. Many places have clubs where people meet to speak English. You can join these clubs to meet new people, practice speaking with them, and learn from them. Joining an English-speaking club is a good way to practice and improve your English. 15th, travel to English-speaking countries. Traveling is a great way to improve your English. When you travel, you have to speak English. You have to talk to people in hotels, restaurants, and shops, ask for directions, and communicate with people. Traveling to English-speaking countries can be very fun and helpful. 16th, use flashcards. Flashcards are a good way to learn new words. You can make flashcards with new words. Write the word on one side and the meaning on the other side. You can look at the flashcards every day and practice saying the words. Flashcards are very helpful for learning new words. 17th, record yourself speaking. Recording yourself is a good way to practice. You can listen to yourself, hear your mistakes, and understand how you sound. You can practice saying the words correctly and ask your friends or teacher to listen to your recording. They can help you with your mistakes. Recording yourself is very helpful for improving your English. 18th, mimic native speakers. Mimicking is a good way to learn how to speak. You can listen to native speakers and try to speak like them. You can copy their pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Mimicking native speakers can help you sound more natural when you speak English. 19th, read aloud. Reading aloud is very helpful. When you read aloud, you practice speaking. You can hear how the words sound. Practice your pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Reading aloud is a very good way to improve your speaking. 20th, practice with a partner. Having a partner to practice with is very helpful. You can practice speaking with your partner, help each other with mistakes, learn from each other, practice conversations, and practice asking and answering questions. Practicing with a partner is a good way to improve your English. 21st, use a mirror. Speaking in front of a mirror can help you. You can see yourself when you speak, see your mouth, and how you say the words. You can practice your facial expressions and gestures. Using a mirror can help you improve your speaking. 22nd, participate in online forums. Online forums are a good place to practice in English. You can join forums where people discuss different topics. Read what other people write. Write your own comments. Ask questions and answer questions. Participating in online forums can help you practice writing and improve your vocabulary. 23rd, write scripts for conversations. Writing scripts can help you prepare for conversations. You can write down what you want to say, write different responses, and practice the script by saying it out loud. Writing scripts can help you feel more confident when speaking. 24th, learn about different cultures. Learning about cultures can help you understand how people use English. You can learn about customs, traditions, how people greet each other, and how people talk in different situations. Learning about cultures can help you communicate better. 25th, set goals. Setting goals is very important. You should set small goals. For example, you can set a goal to learn 5 new words every day. You can set a goal to practice speaking for 10 minutes every day. You can set a goal to read 1 book every month. Setting goals can help you stay motivated. 26th, reward yourself. When you reach your goals, you should reward yourself. This can help you stay motivated. For example, if you learn 5 new words every day for a week, you can reward yourself with a treat. If you practice speaking every day for a month, you can reward yourself with something you like. Rewarding yourself can make learning English more fun. 27th, be patient. Learning a new language takes time. You need to be patient. You will not become fluent in one day. You need to practice every day and keep trying. You will make mistakes, and this is okay. Do not give up. Be patient and keep practicing. 28th, use English in your daily life. Try to use English as much as you can. You can write your shopping list in English, write your notes in English, talk to your pets in English, and think in English. Using English in your daily life will help you improve. 29th, find a language exchange partner. A language exchange partner is someone who wants to learn your language. You can help each other. You can speak in English for some time, then speak in your language. This way, both of you can learn. A language exchange partner can help you practice speaking and improve your English. 30th, join online language learning communities. There are many online communities where people learn languages. You can join these communities to meet people who want to learn English. You can practice speaking with them, ask questions, and share tips. Joining online language learning communities can be very helpful. 31st, take advantage of language exchange apps. There are apps specifically designed for language exchange where you can find partners who are native speakers of English. You can chat with them, voice call, or even video call to practice your speaking skills. These apps often have built-in tools for correcting each other's language. 302nd, practice pronunciation. Pay attention to how words are pronounced in English. English pronunciation can be tricky because some words are spelled similarly but pronounced differently. Practice saying words slowly and clearly, and try to mimic the correct pronunciation you hear from native speakers. 33rd, learn common phrases and expressions. In addition to learning individual words, it's useful to learn common phrases and expressions that native speakers use in everyday conversations. This will make your speech more natural and fluent. 34th, immerse yourself in English media. Surround yourself with English language media, such as movies, TV shows, podcasts, and music. Listening to native speakers in different contexts will help you understand various accents and improve your listening comprehension and speaking skills. 35th, take note of your progress. Keep track of your improvement in speaking English. Celebrate your achievements, whether big or small. Reflect on what you have learned and what areas you still need to work on. This will keep you motivated and focused on your goal of improving your English speaking. 36th, attend English speaking events and workshops. Look for opportunities in your community or online where you can participate in English speaking events or workshops. These events often provide structured practice sessions and opportunities to interact with fluent speakers. 37th, focus on fluency over accuracy. While it's important to speak correctly, especially in formal settings, prioritize fluency in everyday conversations. Don't worry too much about making occasional mistakes. The more you practice speaking, the more naturally fluent you will become. 38th, practice speaking in different situations. Try to practice speaking English in various situations, such as ordering food at a restaurant, making phone calls, or giving presentations. Each situation requires different language skills and will help you become more confident in using English. 39th, get feedback from native speakers. Seek feedback on your English speaking skills from native speakers or fluent speakers. They can provide valuable insights into areas where you can improve, such as pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary usage. 40th, stay motivated and persistent. Learning a language takes time and effort. Stay committed to your goal of improving your English speaking skills. Set realistic expectations and be patient with yourself as you progress. In conclusion, improving your English speaking skills requires dedication and practice. Use these tips and strategies to enhance your language ability step by step. Remember, each small effort you make towards speaking English better will bring you closer to fluency. Keep practicing, keep learning, and enjoy the journey of mastering a new language. The article is a helpful sharing that provides a wide range of practical tips for improving English speaking skills. It emphasizes the importance of consistent practice and persistence in mastering the language. Key strategies include practicing daily by speaking to friends, family, teachers, or even oneself. The sharing also encourages learners to listen to English regularly through songs, movies, and conversations to improve vocabulary, pronunciation, and sentence structure. Reading English books, newspapers, or magazines is highlighted as an effective way to enhance vocabulary and understanding of grammar, especially when done aloud to improve speaking skills. Writing in English, whether in a diary, emails, or letters, is another valuable method, as it allows learners to create sentences and use new words. A key point in the sharing is the encouragement to not fear mistakes. Instead, learners are reminded to view errors as opportunities for growth and to seek help from teachers, friends, or family to correct them. Thinking in English is presented as an essential practice for improving fluency, as it makes expressing oneself more natural over time. The sharing also emphasizes the role of technology, such as apps and online resources, to enhance learning. It suggests joining English-speaking clubs, taking classes, or making friends with native speakers to create more opportunities for real-life practice. Additionally, activities like watching English news, participating in online forums, and attending language workshops are recommended to boost confidence and speaking ability. For learners who enjoy creativity and fun, the sharing suggests using flashcards, playing English games, or mimicking native speakers to improve pronunciation and rhythm. The sharing also points out the value of recording oneself speaking, as it allows learners to identify and correct mistakes. Cultural comprehension, either through travel to English-speaking countries or learning about different cultures, is another practical suggestion, as it helps learners understand language in various social contexts. Setting achievable goals, rewarding oneself for progress, and staying motivated are essential to maintaining the learning process. In conclusion, the sharing provides a comprehensive roadmap for improving English speaking skills. It encourages patience, persistence, and enjoyment in the journey of learning a new language, reminding learners that small, consistent efforts will lead to significant progress over time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Hi everybody, my name is Eliza. Welcome back to my channel Bookish English. Today we're going to talk about 10 ways to start talking in English. Let's get started. Identify objects around you in English. The first way to stop translating in your head is to identify the objects around you in your target language. So, if you're studying English, that means you look at the objects around the room. Look at the things in your life. Don't think of them in your native language first. Think of them in your target language first. So, if I look around the room, I see a computer. I shouldn't think my native language word. I should think my target language word. So, start with the items and the situations in your everyday life. If I say computer in English, maybe I should say computer in Japanese. I should say not, I don't know, water in English. I should say omizu in Japanese. So, start associating the words in your target language with your everyday life now. So, if you're studying English, that means start getting familiar with the things in your everyday life in English. Repeat phrases you hear native speakers use. Tip number 2 is to repeat the phrases that you hear native speakers use. So, if you're watching this channel, for example, or you're watching a TV show or a movie, listen for the way that native speakers make those phrases. If you hear a phrase you have never heard before, or you hear an interesting combination of words, try to repeat them yourself. Don't just listen. Try to say them yourself. If you're in a public space and it's difficult for you to do that, fine. Practice in a place where you feel more comfortable. Maybe if you have some private space to practice. Just repeat them. Get your mouth used to saying the words the way that the native speakers do. So, if you never actually say words, if you're only taking in, if you're only listening and you're not actually producing the language, it's kind of hard to practice and to really hone your pronunciation, to improve your pronunciation. So, when you listen to native speakers, try to repeat after them. So, for example, if you're studying English, you can try to repeat after this video. You can repeat after the things I'm saying because maybe I'm using an expression, or I'm using a series of vocabulary words together, the way a native speaker would, and it's maybe a good idea to try to practice the ways that native speakers put their words together. So, try to repeat after native speakers, especially when you're looking at media. And you can do this when you're reading books too. You can try to read out loud interesting lines of books that you find, or something that maybe is difficult for you. Very nice practice tip. Make a situation where you can't escape into your native language. Make a situation where you can't escape into your native language essentially means immerse yourself. Of course, going to that country or going to a place where you can speak only that language is very difficult for some of you. Totally understand. But if in your life you can create a situation in your library, in your room, in your house somewhere for just an hour or, I don't know, maybe a day. I don't know what your schedule is like. But if you can create a situation or create an environment where you have no choice but to use that language and you cannot escape, meaning you cannot go back to using your native language as a crutch. You can't use the native language at all. It forces you to use the language that you're studying. So, of course, if you are lucky enough to live in the country or to live in a place where people speak the language you're studying, great. But you have to go out and interact with people. You have to put yourself in a place where you have no choice but to speak. It's very hard, and it's very scary, and it's very embarrassing at first. But if you take time to find places and to make environments that are comfortable for you, where you feel comfortable making mistakes and asking questions, it's very valuable for your learning process. This is actually something that I did totally. I totally did this. My Japanese wasn't very good for a long time, but then I started making friends who could not speak English. Actually, I just did this through finding hobbies. There was a hobby that I had. I joined a group. I joined actually a school to where I could learn how to do that hobby. And everything was taught only in Japanese. And the people in my class only spoke Japanese mostly. And then maybe we would go out for drinks and food late at night or on the weekends, and everybody spoke only Japanese. And if I couldn't communicate even simply in Japanese, I had no hope of keeping that friendship together. So it forced me to study. It forced me to think about the words they were using and to try to learn those words, those patterns, as well as how to produce them naturally myself. So I was learning the vocabulary words the people around me were using and learning how to apply them on my own. That was only possible because I had no escape in those situations. So try to do that, even if you can do it yourself in your house. It's super helpful, I think. Watch TV and movies in your target language without subtitles. Tip number 4 is to watch TV and movies in your target language without subtitles. So I think that watching with subtitles can be very beneficial. So, if I'm watching something or if you want to watch something with subtitles on, great. But I sometimes find that in my case, I think too much about reading the subtitles and I forget to listen. So, maybe if you've seen a movie in your target language a few times with the subtitles on, try turning the subtitles off and think about the character's body language, the words they're using. You can always look that up later. Look up the words you don't know in a dictionary. But try to do it where you're focusing completely on the way that people are using their words. Try not to use the subtitle. So, kind of play around with it a little bit. If there's a word that's difficult for you to hear, you can actually turn on the subtitles in the native language of the movie as well. That's something that I've done, like if I wanted to study Japanese, it's very useful when the actual words spoken in Japanese appear on the screen. Sometimes it's easier for me to catch a word if I see it visually and I hear it at the same time. So, another way to explore how you can use TV and movies is to actually turn on the closed captions like the words on the screen in the native language of the movie. So, this is sort of 2 points in one. So, 1, watch movies without subtitles, meaning subtitles in your native language, and hint 2 is to watch movies with closed captioning on, but the closed captioning is in your target language, not in your native language. So, you can try those 2 things with TV and with movie. Don't bring a dictionary to your lesson. Tip number 5 is don't bring a dictionary to your lesson. Okay. So, give me a second here. So, I understand that dictionaries, especially electronic dictionaries, we have them on our phones now, are very, very convenient. Of course, it's important to use them, and they're a great resource to have. However, one thing that really bothers me and that I think is detrimental is not helpful for students, is when students are in a lesson and they're practicing conversation and they reach a point in the conversation where they don't know the word they want to use. They know it in their native language and they don't know how to say it in their target language. They pull out their dictionary. They say to the person listening to them, their practice partner in their lesson, where they have a limited period of time, just a moment. And then they look it up on their phone. It takes a few seconds. The flow of the conversation stops, and then they say a word. It's like, whoa, no. You don't have that ability. You don't have the ability to do that in a conversation with a native speaker. Most people, like if you go to a bank and try to open a bank account, are you really going to pull out your dictionary and sit there and try to communicate? Just a moment, as you look up each word you don't know. Number. Or if you do, that's not a real conversation. So instead, try using a different strategy. By that, I mean, if you find a word you don't know in conversation, explain the word to your conversation partner. Maybe they know the word. If you're speaking with a native speaker, this is a chance for them to teach you a word. I find that when people take the time to teach me a word, I remember the word much better than just looking it up on my dictionary. So, try to resist. Maybe you can bring a dictionary to your lesson, but don't use it, or try not to use it in your conversation practice. It destroys the flow of a conversation. So instead, practice the skill of describing the vocabulary word you want to use and learn how to ask the meaning of a word, or learn how to ask for a vocabulary word from your partner. So you can use an expression like, ah, what's the word that means blah, blah, blah? Or, it's this thing that does this and this and this. So this is an opportunity for you to describe characteristics of something or find a different way. You can use your body language. You can use whatever. You have a lot of tools, but try not to use a dictionary in a conversation because it's not realistic. Train responses to common questions. Number 6 is a quick one. I think number 6, hint number 6 I have, is just to train responses to common questions. So, for example, a very common question in English is, "Hey, how are you?" You should know how to answer this question. Just have a default response. "Hey, how are you?" "I'm good." If it takes you a long time to answer the question, "Hey, how are you?" you need to practice. I think that's a pretty good indicator. So, for example, sometimes I ask students a question like they haven't quite gotten the idea of how to respond just yet. They're not quick at responding. I say, "Hey, how are you?" And they say, "Yes." And then they think and they go, "I'm good." That's a very common question. So think about just a default response that you can spit out, that you can quickly say. If it's, "How was your weekend?" Or, "Hey, what's up?" Or, "What do you want to do for dinner tonight?" Think about just a handful, meaning just a few responses to those questions, and train them quickly. Just, "How are you?" "I'm good." "How are you?" "I'm okay." "How are you?" "Not bad." There are 3. So it's just training responses to those questions. There's no reason to be surprised by a question like, "How are you?" That's a very common question. So, for those common questions, train responses to that. We've got a bunch of videos, especially beginner-level videos for some example responses you can do. So, don't get stuck with these little questions. Just train a few responses. Practice a few responses till they feel natural to you. It will save you time, and it will help the person asking the question too to move forward in the conversation. Study with materials that don't provide a translation. The next tip is to study with materials that don't provide a translation. So by this, I mean if you're using worksheets or some kind of textbook or whatever, and it has your target language, the language you're studying, and it has your native language next to it. While this can be useful, I feel that if you can, studying your materials only in your target language and then simplified explanations for more detailed points also in your target language can be a little bit better. So, I don't want to say like you should only study things in your target language and nothing from your native language, because of course it can be helpful sometimes to look up a word or to understand the grammar point in your native language. But where possible, if you can find something that provides simplified explanations in your target language, it can be really, really helpful because again, you're learning to think on like a simpler and a more basic level about the language you're studying in the language that you're studying. So this can be really, really good. So finding some materials to use where there's no translation. Maybe you can practice, of course, with books and with written materials, but I also with like video materials as well. So there are a variety of different ways that you can find materials in your target language like in video and TV. So, some things to think about. There are the level of vocabulary words people are using in the media content you're watching, who the media content is intended for, children, young adults, adults, the speed at which the speaker is talking. So, like I have the ability to change the level of difficulty of videos based on the rate of speech, the vocabulary words that I use, and how many idioms and things I use. So, I could make a video very difficult. We could make like a very difficult video series by leveling up our vocabulary use or by speaking very quickly. Or as you might see in our English in 3-minute series, we can also use very simple vocabulary and speak at a low rate of speech. So, maybe right now, this is a very intermediate level video. So, please think about that. So, not just for written materials, but also for your audio and visual materials. Think about who your audience is, the level of the material, and so on. It can be really fun and it can be helpful to think about your target language in your target language. All right, we're almost done. Study phrases in addition to single vocabulary. The next tip is study phrases in addition to single vocabulary words. So, yes, of course, vocabulary is important, but I find it personally very, very useful to look at how a vocabulary word is used in a phrase, because sometimes using it in a phrase helps you understand the nuance of that vocabulary word really, really well. Like a word like crazy, for example, in English. Depending on the situation where the word crazy is used, it could mean something different. It could mean like a person who is mentally confused or mixed up. It could also mean something really good. It could mean something really bad. So, if we look only at the word crazy, it's quite difficult to understand really the meaning of the word. But if you look at the way the word is used in a phrase, you can get a lot more information. So, take a look at the way people use words in phrases, not just a single vocabulary word. You can learn a lot more that way, I think. Do your daily activities in English where possible. The next tip is to do your daily activities in your target language. So, if you're studying English, that means try to do some daily activities in English if possible. So, this could be very, very boring stuff, but just think about it when you're doing the activity. So, like right now, I'm filming a video for Learn English with Listening, or I'm going to work, I'm cooking breakfast, I'm doing the laundry. What do I have to do tomorrow? So, try thinking about your everyday life in English if you're studying English. Try thinking about your everyday activities, the people that you meet. What are you doing? So this is a way to help you practice your verb. So if you don't know, I don't know, you're doing something at work and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I explain what's the verb for a picture like, I want to blah 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 a picture. What's the word? You can check a dictionary at that point and go, oh, it's draw. I need to use the verb draw for draw a picture. So you can find these little gaps in your everyday life, these little gaps in your knowledge if you think about your everyday activities in your target language. If you don't think about it in your target language, you might not realize you have vocabulary gaps or phrase gaps here and there. So, this is a really good and kind of funny, actually, way to study. Use a learner's dictionary for new words. The last tip is to use a learner's dictionary for new words. So, in English, there are learner's dictionaries available in English. So, my personal favorite channel is Learn English with Listening. If you find a word that you don't recognize, you can check it in a dictionary, in a learner's dictionary, and it gives you a simple explanation in simple English of that word. So, instead of checking it in your native language, you can check it in your target language. So, again, this helps you to understand the word that you're focused on, but you understand it from the language you're studying, not from your native language. So, using a learner's dictionary can be really, really useful as well. All right, so those are 10 tips to help you stop translating in your head. I know it's very difficult, but it takes time and it takes practice, and I hope that these are a few strategies that can help you as you study any language. Of course, this is an English language channel, an English language learning channel, but I think these tips are pretty good for learning just about any language, really. So, I hope those are useful for you. If you have tried these strategies, or if you have any other comments or other tips, please let us know in the comments section below this video. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Learn English with Listening, and I will see you again soon. Bye.